We respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tặng thính, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh, tịnh chuyên diệu phạm luân giáo đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh thoát tư lý khổ đạc lạc, tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sa Đan Thô Sư Chế Đô Ye Ở La Hơ Đi San Miao San Phu Tô Chế. Nam mô Ta 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 Tu Ya Da Ya La De Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I am able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei biao fa bai qian, wan jie nan zao yu, wo jin jie wen de shou chi, yuan jie ru lai che shi yi. O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Qingliang, Great Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good known advisors of Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、精良大士、师父上人、各位出家人、各位善知识弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Thanh Lương Đại sư Hòa Thượng Thiên Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is the 27th of October 2024. We're here at DTT to continue discussing the first chapter of the Avatamsaka Sutra. We're in the area of the world rulers, in the level of the sun heavenly balances. That's about the same level where the suns and the moons are in the position-wise in space. So we've been going from sixth desire heaven to lower right now. So we're at the sun and moon level, which is about the second desire heaven in our world, where the Christian God is. All right. So thank you for coming. The very special thing, we're on 729 slide number, and I'm a little bit still under jet lag. I thought of maybe taking some time, a few weeks off, but I can't. I have to make mortgage payment, so it's the end of the month. I'm kidding. What's interesting here, what I find interesting is that, we drag out these chapters. So every week is a challenge for me to come up with some angle for you to try to justify to you why we've been doing this for year after year, the same chapter. And we started about over a year ago, chapter number 1 here. We're still here. We're nowhere near being completed. It's like file number 2 out of 5. It has been over a year already. So that's why I resigned to the fact that the rest of my life I won't be able to finish this Avatamsaka Sutra. Okay? That'll be next your turn. You can take over and continue and do your important work, Dharma preparation work. But what's interesting about these world rulers here is that they are Mahasattvas. They are very talented, very high level of bodhisattvas. They're disciples of the Buddha, and the Buddha trained them personally. At this level, they basically they need to be trained by Buddhas. And part of their assignment, part of their training is to go and do these projects, so they become world rulers as part of the training, believe it or not. Okay, so it's on-the-job training. This is the nature of Buddhist training. We train you by doing. It's very little classroom involved. Classroom is for scholars, for people who want to know, but they don't necessarily need to see results. Okay, so theory. Whereas in Buddhism, the only way to learn, because the objective is to open your wisdom. So the only way to learn is for you to actually have to do it. Okay, and what's amazing to me is that these world rulers, my Chinese teacher explained this chapter a long, long time ago. I don't think he ever went into this, because as I'm my turn, I find it so fascinating. So many aspects of why this is chapter 1, okay? And it's so many of them, because what they're doing is so important. Okay, and as we go through this, for example, let's read, for example, 729. Celestial Prince, non-retreating courage, gain a passage into liberation of universally radiating unobstructed light, causing all sentient beings to increase vigor and energy.
勇猛不退转天子，得无碍光普照，令一切众生一齐精爽解脱门。
Okay. So 729, 730, this celestial king here is world ruler at that level. His name is known as non-retreating courage, meaning that this guy is relentless. Once he sets his mind to do something, he will never, never back down. Okay, unlike us losers, we quit. They don't ever quit. This world ruler, his celestial prince here, it sounds like he's just another politician, but no, he's actually on assignment. Okay, and and more or less the Buddha says, okay, you take over that area, you become a world ruler there. And as he goes there, he's known to his peers, to the entire universe. You see, when you have a name by non-retreating courage, meaning that the entire Dharma realm, the entire universe knows about you, knows your name. Isn't that cool? You see how, can you realize the extent of how big this guy really is? The entire universe knows about him. That's why his name is mentioned in this sutra. And Buddha even brings up his name. Okay? And so he's known to be brave, he's fearless. That's the nature of enlightenment. Okay? And he'll never quit. Okay? No matter how difficult it is, no matter how often he failed. Okay? In order for you to be non-retreating, you have to be to have failed countless times until you reach non-retreating. Isn't that interesting? And then, so that's what he's known to his peers. He says, this guy is very scary. When he says it's mine to get you, okay, he'll never quit until he gets you. So that's why his opponents, his enemies are frightened of him. No one can stop him. No one. And he became enlightened by doing this, by radiating unobstructing light. Okay, this is kind of a funny thing when you read it. It really doesn't make sense to people like us. He radiates lights. Okay, so you shine light. What for? Radiate meaning it's all directions. Okay, causing. What does this light do? This light that he produces. Bye, son. Have a happy life. Causing all sentient beings who receive his light, who are able to see his light, they have this kind of benefit. Their vigor and their energy increase. That's what he does. And that's how he became enlightened. It's interesting because, first of all, he became enlightened by helping living beings, sentient beings, okay? Countless sentient beings. That's a mindset, okay? Number two, how does he help them? He helps them helps them increase their vigor and their energy. Meaning what? Meaning that this is necessary for your cultivation. This is necessary for your cultivation, by the way, for the Buddhists, is sort of like the ultimate endeavor. I know we are more impressed with being famous. Me, I'm a Swiftie deep down, okay? I admit to you, okay? So we look at success. We look at success as in terms of profits, in terms of fame and profit. This guy here, these people who have tremendous wisdom, once they have tremendous wisdom, what do they do with their wisdom? They help us increase all living beings, by the way, all the beings in that level of the celestial palaces level, all residents in the world at that level of the heavens. He helps them, not just one. Not just wife, not just his family, not just his neighborhood. It's the entire level of heavens. Okay? You can see many, many living beings. I told people this morning that Master O Abbot came back from Vietnam and he brought back like 500,000 pieces of relics. And I explained to people that for me, that tells me that we need to ramp it up because we need to reach 500,000 people, okay, in Asia. That's why no time for break this weekend. Okay, I'd love to, but I look at those relics. Oh, here we go again. No break. Okay? And so this guy here benefits all the celestial beings in that level, in the heavens. Okay, and he helps them by increasing their vigor and their energy, so that they have endless energy. Okay, to be able to do their things, do the cultivation. Okay, again, worldly people apply themselves for fame and profit. For the Buddhists, a much harder endeavor is to cultivate. Okay. And in order to cultivate successfully, we need a lot of vigor. We need a lot of energy. Okay, the Chinese chant, for example, is known to require tremendous vigor. And energy means that, well, he gets tired. The jet lags and the age and the burden and so forth. But so that's why these are the fuel necessary for cultivation. how on earth will we, the receivers, the recipients, ever be able to know? We see, at their level of the Mahasattvas, they benefit a lot of people. And what's the second characteristic of their work? They benefit us, and we have no clues they're being helped. Isn't it fantastic? This is why they have such a big heart. They help a bunch of strangers, Chinese, Vietnamese, Tibetan, Indians, so forth, men, women, and they don't even know. They think, oh, today I feel so vigorous. I feel so energetic. And they may be is the case because his light happens to shine upon us, and it's like charges us up. Impressed. It's amazing when we watch a sad movie. I see girls will go, but this is so touching. But no one is impressed. That's how ungrateful you all are. I explained to you, you're not even impressed. I could explain it this way to you, but even after you heard it, you still are totally ungrateful. I say, yeah, you're the Mahasattva, aren't you supposed to do that? Yeah, it's the nature of the work. If you want to help people, don't expect recognition. Okay, and as I told you, this guy's non-retreating because he failed more than you can ever count already. You know that? When you hear non-retreating, that means the guy failed so often, so many times, to the point where there's nothing left for him to possibly fail. Nothing you haven't failed yet, haven't figured out how not to fail yet. Never mind. Next, celestial prince, brilliance from exquisite flower garlands, gain a passage into liberation of universally shining pure light upon sentient beings' bodies, engendering an ocean of happiness, faith, and understanding.
妙华音光明天子，得净光普照众生身，令生欢喜性，解海解脱门。
Okay. 732. This guy here, his reputation is he has his exquisite flower garlands. When you see him, he has this image of a exquisite, it's a sublime flower garlands. Okay, and because of his level, this current level of celestial beings, that's where they emit a lot of light. Okay, so that's what they do. Every single one of them emits light. Okay, and how did he get to become a Mahasattva? I want you to see the scope of the work here. It's not just one country or two countries. It's like a lot of worlds. Okay, in the galaxy. Yeah. He shines light, it's pure light. Okay, of course, he's enlightened, therefore his light is pure. But it's a reminder, okay, that it's about purity at this level. Upon sentient beings' bodies, so they shine light upon our bodies, just like it's happening right now. Okay? Probably some of the light is shining upon here. Okay. Wait, his world may be different from our world. Engendering an ocean of happiness. And this light here, even though it's light, each one of these celestial kings have a different specialty. It's light here. He happens to be interested in bringing happiness Okay, 欢喜心切. This guy is to me is my kind of man. I mean, my kind of celestial king. When he shines light upon you, he brings joy to your life. And not only joy, so because this celestial king happens to believe, you start with joy. Okay, life is so difficult and so much suffering already. So therefore, instead of being depressed and blame others, this guy shines light upon you. All of a sudden, you have this joy that wells inside of you. Okay, and then your faith is increased. Your faith in what? Your faith in cultivation. Your faith in yourself. Faith in Triple Jewel. Okay, and then understanding of the teachings, understandings of the suffering of others. And when you understand that others are suffering, you don't look at your own suffering anymore. You're too busy. Like this celestial king, celestial prince. He sees that people are sad, okay? That he says, I need to bring joy to them. People are skeptical because, especially nowadays, there's so much junk on the internet, Reddit, and websites and so forth. Even so-called reputable websites still allow anonymous criticism of others. Okay? Because you know why it's anonymous? It's anonymous because the Vinaya forbids you to do that. Okay? So that's why, and if you allow anonymous criticism and slandering of others, especially other Sanghas, that the entire organization is at fault, not just one person. That's how stupid it is. The leader pays. It's your fault. Okay? So anyway, so you see, the faith, especially in Dharma ending age, faith is very rare to find, okay, because of so many conflicting information, okay, and we don't know where anymore. In particular, in our year, for example, we're supposed to have a second patriarch, and it's nowhere to be found. So, who are we supposed to believe? Okay, and so it's a lot of doubts. If you have doubts, you can't cultivate. I went through that for several years myself. Okay, and understanding is finally that the jie here is to be able to understand not only the teachings but also understand the people you're trying to help. This is our process, boys and girls. Once you have wisdom, you have to talk to people, you have to connect with people to understand them, to understand how to help them, how to provide relief for their suffering, how to help them get out, escape. All right? And so that's why that's part of the process. And so this celestial prince here, he understands this importance. And again, amazingly, he does this thing because it's critical to our cultivation, and yet it's not emphasized enough. Okay? I know you come to the temple, you look for, concrete thing you can see. Statues, the Koreans, they tell each other, I go to the temple because I want to look at the beautiful face of the Buddha statues. They look at the face. And if the face is not good looking enough, they don't come back. It's Korean culture for you. They tell each other, the women, at least one woman told me, he said, we go because we tell each other, the Buddha's statue, the face is so exquisite, so beautiful. All right? And so that's why at the superficial level, you need to learn to recognize that. And just because you have wisdom and you're so busy, I want you to remember that DTT, and it's not a criticism, I'm full, I'm happy today, okay? Even though I didn't sleep much, maybe an hour last night. But DTT here is for the Pure Land Dharma. The Pure Land Dharma practice is based on adornment. Pure Land is adorned, extremely adorned. So we need to have adorned things. And we don't want to have a very nice floor carpet, crooked like that. And I'm amazed at you, people that I claim to have wisdom, can walk around for the last hour or so, and the crooked carpet bothered none of you at all, both Sanghas and lay people. I've been sitting here since 12:20. I've been looking at the crooked carpet, and I'm patiently waiting for someone to fix it. If you don't pay attention to these little details, how can you possibly call it adorned? You know how much work it takes to adorn something? Huh? You see the flower arrangements behind me? Yeah, how much work it took to do this? And you spend so much efforts and money into all this, and you have a crooked carpet right in the center of Buddha Hall, and nothing bothers you at all. I'm amazed at how blind you all are. And if you think cultivation is about, like I meditate to become enlightened, and you can't even see the most obvious things right there, it's still crooked. Anyway. Okay? How can you possibly do important big things if you don't pay attention to details? I ask you. Seriously. Now it's better. Thank you very much. Now it took 4 of them to fix it. You see how difficult it is? It's the simple alignment of the carpet right there on the floor. It took 4 people. It's a lot of work that go into the flower arrangement here. Can you imagine the kind of work that goes on in Pure Land in order for it to be perfect, so adorned? Huh? Because these 4 people, if we have to pay them like East Korea, okay, we can't afford to pay them. They're too expensive. And for the Pure Land to be so adorned, so be perfect, I mean, the level of skill set they have here is incredible. Okay? Thank you, everyone. I hope you become enlightened soon. Okay, next. Celestial Prince, Supreme Banner Light, gain a passage into liberation of. Universally shining light on beings in the world so that they successfully complete all kinds of wonderful, meritorious deeds.
最圣床光明天子，得光明普照一切世间，令成办种妙功德解脱门。
And as long we're here, let me remind you, if you wish to go to the Pure Land, and I know you as I just want to recite the Buddha's name and so forth, and that's one main practice. But the rest of the practice is very adorned, so that part of the Pure Land practice is to adorn the Pure Land. Okay, this is part of the Pure Land. This is a staging station for the Pure Land. So therefore, when you adorn this, you also adorn the Pure Land as well. Okay, don't forget that. Okay, so not only are you adorning with physical things, but I started to teach you about adorning with the way you walk, the way you dress. Okay, the way you comport yourself. That's adorning. Okay, the cultivation of the Pure Land Dharma door. Don't be so narrow-minded. Okay, so this guy here, he says, according to Master YongHua here, he illuminates everyone, speak Dharma, and teach transform living beings. They can bring the successive wishes of those in the world. Okay, so it helps. He invisibly and behind the scenes, he helps us gain success in our endeavors. And what's most important, okay, in terms of cultivation, for the Buddhist cultivation, in your journey to enlightenment, is you need to have wonderful and merit and virtues. Okay? We know about merit and virtue. Merit is you do things to contribute to society. Okay? Virtues is you take losses, basically. Okay? That's why they come hand in hand. You cannot help someone unless you're willing to take a loss. You can't help someone and expect to gain from it. Okay? If you help someone and ultimately expect to gain from it, it's commercial enterprise, it's salesmanship, it's profiteering, it's business. It's not cultivation. Are we clear on that? In cultivation, when we help someone, we know there's a price to pay, and we gladly pay it. That's why it's called merit and virtue. Merit is to help others. Okay? The bigger, the more of them, the better. Virtue is that I'm helping, I'm prepared to take a loss. I'm willing to take a loss. No hesitation. All right? And then not only is he helping us create merit and virtues, he also helping us create wonderful merit and virtues. Another qualifier, okay? Down here in our world, we're just so happy we can do some merit and virtues. But over there, up there, with his help, he wants us to go for the big deals, the fantastic deals, the more wonderful, the better, not ordinary stuff. That's why he's a Mahasattva. They don't go small. They don't think small. They don't think of themselves only. They are not always trying to calculate what's in it for them. Celestial Prince, Jewel Cowl, Universal Light, gain a passage into liberation of the ocean of great compassion from which he manifests boundless states involving gems of various shapes and forms.
宝济普光明天子，得大悲海，现无边境界，种种色相宝解脱门。
736. This celestial prince here, it has, let's read Master YongHua's stuff. Infinite compassion by manifesting infinite gems. Okay? So the clue here is the gems he uses, that he produces, he makes them appear or produce them. whether it's buried under the ground or manifest out of thin air, like relics or whatever. Okay, they can relieve suffering. That's why it's called compassion, infinite compassion. So the living beings want gold, meaning that if they don't have it, they suffer and they can't take it. Therefore, he manifests gold. Okay, so it's not so much about wealth. It's about he does it because he sees the pain and suffering that we have to go through because we don't have it. You see, the mindset is different. The motivation is different. Okay? And so out of compassion, he sees that he doesn't judge us. He says, I want gold because as being greedy, but he sees us as wanting gold, and he sees it as because we suffer. He sees the suffering behind that desire to have it. So that's why he manifests gold to relieve our suffering. Okay, they want silver. Okay, he manifests silver. He produced silver out of thin air. Imagine the kind of blessings he has. For us, in order to have gold, what do? We need to work, make money, and then buy gold, yeah? Okay? So that's how our blessings manifest, ultimately in the form of gold. Am I being clear? The reason you have gold is because you have the blessings that enables you to go through the process, whatever it is, okay, to whether you work for it, whether you marry into it, whether you buy gold stocks, whatever. But ultimately, for you to put your hands on gold, because you have the blessings to have gold that will manifest into gold. Is it clear? Okay, so for him to be able to manifest all sorts of gems, you can imagine the kind of blessings he has. Incredible blessings. And can you just produce gold or silver on the fly? Meaning he spends many lifetimes perfecting that. Okay? Makes appear different gems, not gold, but also cubic zirconia, fulfill wishes, living being, and relieve the suffering. Okay? So out of compassion, he sees people seeking all these gems out of greed or whatever. It doesn't matter what motivates these people, the living beings, to seek these gems. He sees them as suffering. Rich people, poor people, all the same. He can see the suffering in all living beings. Fascinating, okay? And that's how he manifests gems, to relieve the suffering, okay? Not about getting rich. All right? 737. Celestial Prince, bright eyes, gain a passage into liberation of, cleansing and healing the eyes of all sentient beings, enabling them to see the treasury of the Dharma realm.
"光明眼天子，得尽治一切众生眼，令见法界，藏解脱门。"
And if you are wondering about that, sort of like a delay between English and Chinese pronunciation, is my Chinese person also has jet lag. So once I finish, he said, "Oh, it's me." And then she'll have to wake up and then, "Oh, I better go to work." All right. So bright eyes. Okay. Again, light. Okay. Now the eyes emit light. Yeah. Eyes emit light. And interesting. I see lights emit lights, but the eyes emit light. Okay, and he became enlightened by cleansing and healing the eyes of all sentient beings. So he's an eye doctor. I'm sure he excelled at all sorts of eye healing sciences of the world. You agree? You believe that or not? He can heal any sorts of eye illnesses. Fascinating, okay? And why? Why does he want to heal the eyes of living beings? To enable them to see the treasury of the Dharma realm. To see the wonders in the Dharma realm. Okay? And so seeing is to believing, in other words. That's why he says, in order to help living beings, I want them to see for themselves. That's how they're going to bring forth faith and cultivate harder. Yes, 8.
Master, I feel my eyesight is getting worse and worse recently. Can I pray to Celestial Prince's bright eye?
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite get
My eyesight is getting worse and worse recently. Is that okay if I pray to this Celestial Prince?
Yeah, it might work, but he might be too busy. You can imagine. He says, wait a minute. You are, see, his subjects are at the level of the heavens. And you sort of like paupers. You know, we human beings are like slaves to the heavenly beings. So, in principle, it would help if his eyes, the light emitted from his eyes, get to you. It might help your eyesight. Okay, but I doubt that you'll be able to see his lights. Okay, and so the eyesight is getting worse. It's a natural form of aging. How old are you? Never mind. It turns out, when you cultivate, your eyesight improves. And aging too, right? You get older, the eyes get better or no? No, they don't. It's amazing. I used to be 4.75 eyeglasses. Now it's 2. I was hoping to, it's not from RK surgery, LASIK, okay? It's actually as you cultivate, the eyesight gets better and lots of good things happen. Yes, 8.
Yeah, I just want to echo with Master. I have very high prescription, 10, 9, since I was very
You
little.
10 or 9?
Yeah.
That's bordering on blindness, isn't it?
Yeah. Every single year, my eyesight will progress. Like my mom trying acupuncture, pressures, eye exercise. We would do them all since I was little. Every year, I make progress. Progress worse, higher and higher. So last 5 years, I haven't checked any prescription because of pandemic. And recently, when I went to check, it doesn't change. Yeah, so that
Your eyesight hasn't changed?
Hasn't changed. It hasn't got worse.
As you get older, it's supposed to get worse, yes?
It's supposed to get worse.
Like Shirley behind you. I mean, the eye is getting worse. That's normal.
So I'm trying to tell Shirley there's hope.
So,
keep on practicing.
Actually, I notice a lot of our disciples, when they get to good levels of Kung Fu, the eyesight improve. That's natural. A lot of good things improve. Physically, you improve. Okay? Okay, and just a side commentary, stop praying, asking for help. To me, it's so weak. Oh my God. Stop it. Okay? just know that if you keep on progressing, working hard, physically, your body will be better off. Naturally. Okay? Yeah. All right. Don't be so Chinese. I pray to the Buddha and Bodhisattva. I see help. Come on, let's do Chinese. Okay? Oh, God. All right. And so, eye doctor. 739, Celestial Prince, upholding virtue, gain a passage into liberation of, bringing forth a pure, continuous mind, which is never ravaged or lost.
持得天子，得发生清净相续心，令不失坏解脱门。
Okay, very good. 740, Master Shuang commentary is bring forth a pure mind that is never cut off, lost or destroyed. His role is continuous and uninterrupted. Okay, so what does he want to do? How does he help us? He invisibly helps living beings uphold their virtues. Meaning, what does it mean, uphold virtues? Remember? Very simple explanation, concept of virtue to me, I present, I submit to you. Basically, take a loss. Be deliberately taking a loss. You know full well that you're going to incur losses in order to benefit others. You still want to do it. It's not like you don't know, you didn't know, and therefore it's not called virtue, you didn't know. Okay? You deliberately do it. Deliberately take a loss in order to help others. And this guy says, that's why I'm known in my world as I uphold virtue, meaning I sustain such virtuous people. Isn't it interesting that when you do virtuous deeds, okay, these Buddhas and Bodhisattvas know. How about that? It's not like you say, I'm so lonely. I take losses to help so many people. No one knows. I'm so depressed because no one cares. Guess what? These beings, these world rulers, these Mahasattva, these Buddhas, they know. And they're secretly helping us. They're secretly supporting us. Isn't it fascinating? You're not all alone. Okay? When you do merit and virtues, when you do things to benefit others, there are a lot of superior beings, bodhisattvas, mahasattvas, Buddhas, who are watching over you and are secretly supporting you. And we don't even know. There's so many of them. Think about it. You think we have only one Mahasattva? The universe has so many, many worlds. Yes? And these Mahasattva are there, working everywhere in the universe. Okay? That's why I keep on making jokes about it. My peers, they pray to our teacher, Master Hsuan, to stick around and continue his work and help us out. And I said, what's the matter with you? We have so many Mahasattvas. What do we care? If one is done, there's another better one will come along. Come on, have faith. Okay, you're so small-minded. And he spent a good part of his life explaining this sutra. They still don't get it. And you only listen to this sutra for a year and you understand, you have a bigger picture. Think about it. You're thinking too small. We have so many Mahasattvas, folks. Believe. You are on the winning side. There's so many of them who are helping us. And the nature of the help is that they won't ever want us to know that they're helping us. Believe. Okay? Yeah. They help us, and he got there. He became a Mahasattva by bringing forth a pure, continuous mind. Okay, so he's set on becoming a Buddha. Okay, that's all. His Dharma door is not 4 true hands and eyes. It's not building temples. Okay, it's not collecting disciples, collecting relics, collecting donations. Okay, making a name for themselves. Okay, he simply became a Mahasattva by constantly thinking of reaching Buddhahood. What? You expecting like, does he recite the Shrangama mantra? The most important mantra in the world? No, that Dharma door is still too low. Got it? Your world is so small. I feel sorry for you. Okay? I don't even see it as suffering. I feel it's like you're so poor. It's no more. I mean, suffering is part of being poor. Celestial Springs universal revolving radiance gain a passage into liberation, whereby solar palaces orbit everywhere, shining on all sentient beings of the 10 directions, so that they successfully complete their work.
普运行光明天子，得普运日宫殿，照十方一切众生，令成就所作业解脱门。
So this guy here, universal revolving radiance, so he takes his light and revolves and radiates, and so it revolves everywhere. What does it tell you? No discrimination. Okay? I go around. Okay? I go to Paris, I help the Parisians, and I go to London and help the Londonians, is what you call them, and then the Belgians, and Portuguese, and Vietnam, and and so forth. Okay? No discrimination. Revolving is that, no discrimination whatsoever. Is that clear? Okay? Radiance, so he emits light to help everyone. And he got there by shining his light on sensing beings 10 directions in order to help them complete their work, what they do successfully. Why is it important? To me, it's funny that if you add whatever you want to do, he shines light upon you so that you succeed. And of course, I personally think that if that's the case, you know what I would do? The first thing I do, if I can have access to his light, I go to a liquor store to buy a lottery ticket. Super lotto, that is, not just any lottery ticket. What else would you like to do to completion successfully? Someone might say, I want to sit in full lotus for 10 hours with no pain whatsoever. Funny, huh? Yes, Wei Bao.
About the solar palaces. I'm envisioning palaces flying around the sun, but I don't know if that's accurate.
Solar palaces flying around the sun? The solar palaces are basically palaces that emit light as bright as the sun. That's why they're called solar palaces.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What was his comment? Okay, so when I read this this morning, this morning, okay, I said, successfully complete their work. Why? Why is it important for us? Have you thought about it? Why? If all the things that he wants to help, he just wants to help us successfully complete what we do. Yes, 8.
I think for many of us, including myself, we sometimes need to fulfill our desire to complete the work to know that it doesn't work. So we can progress to other desire complete it, doesn't work. Eventually we come to the realization that we need a different way.
Okay. I'm thinking even bigger than that. He was thinking like a woman. I mean...
I am a woman.
Sorry. Don't let the gender limit you. Anyone else? Why is it so important for him to help people complete their work successfully? Yes, 8.
So if I want to attain Buddhahood, he can help me as well.
Okay. Continue. Bigger. Think bigger. Anyone else? These guys are big thinkers, folks. They're not thinking small at all. For me, big is super lotto, but for him it's much bigger. Yes, 7.
Thank you, Master. Maybe does make living being have a strong faith?
Okay, getting there. Anyone else? This is fascinating to me. As you talk, I begin to understand why. I couldn't figure out. I said this morning, if people ask me, Master, why would this Mahasattva, what wisdom is there in helping people complete their work successfully? Why? Yes, 8. And I said, I have no idea. I was too sleepy. I said, I don't know. This is going to be a bad lecture.
There are a lot of Bodhisattva and Mahasattva make big vows to help all sentient beings, so he will help them as well.
Okay, not wrong. Anyone else? You're not thinking big enough. It's big thinking, folks. No one? No takers? Yes. Costco person in the back. You still Costco, right? Not fired yet?
Miraculously not fired yet.
Not fired yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Good
Thank
luck.
God.
I hope you get promoted.
I'm working on it.
Okay, of course. And now you're certainly so ambitious. No more shaving the head, huh? That's the biggest promotion. Just kidding. Go ahead, 3.
Because then he helps us accomplish our things. We are in debt to him. So then he's on the Buddha's team. So he wants to do good things in the universe. So he's getting more disciples, helpers. And
okay, very good. Anyone else? You give up? I admit to you, I don't know how to explain this thing, but today, all of a sudden, right now, I just thought of something. But this morning, I couldn't. No way. Why would you want to complete what they do successfully? Why? Yes. 8.
Because then they can learn to let go.
have to think about it. Maybe. Okay, anyone else? It's not what I'm looking for. See, I look at the faces of the men on this men's side. I know they don't get it. I think the women will get it. Some of them are beginning to get it. Way Mountain. Korea, don't be so quiet. I know it's still early for you. Is it early or late?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Master, I have two explanations for this. One is that if we are doing good things like printing sutra or explain sutra, things like that, he help us accomplish our work so that he can have a share of the merit and virtue that we're doing. That's the first thing. Second is that...
That's along the line of Master Shenhua. You cheating. Continue. I want something original. Don't follow the Chinese.
Is that if he help us complete what we need to do, then karma will help him complete his endeavor so that he can become a Buddha faster.
Very good. Yes, 8.
He is reinforcing cause and effect.
Cause and effect.
Because we create good deeds, he helped us complete our work. We get into the cause and effect, believe in more positive reinforcement.
Very good. Let me tell you. Master Shenhua, the way he explained it, chose to focus on good karmas. Yeah? Good karmas. Okay? So he looks at it from the cultivation perspective. Good karmas. Okay? I look at it even a bigger environment. I want it for worldly people too. I'm pretty sure this guy here would not discriminate. He says, I only help people who cultivate. That's according to Master Shenhua's explanation. When you do good, I will help you. To become successful at it. Okay? And so he implies cultivation. I'm saying that you do worldly pursuits, he will also help you. That's my claim. That's the difference between Chinese and American, let me tell you. The Chinese only think about the good things. Americans are much more wicked. No ideas? It's because you don't understand psychology of women. Men, I give up on them today. They look at, I don't get it. Yes, 8.
Emitofuo Master, I'm just guessing. Just like Master said, your disciples or your people follow the temple should have at least 4 children, because we are good people, practice good practice, and when we're going to the world, we're like ripples, spreading the kindness and compassion to the world and make the world a better place.
Hallelujah.
Emitofuo.
Okay, let me explain to you. This has to do with psychology of women. Okay, men are much more limited. This is how I look at you women. Okay, when you want to do something, the Bodhisattva here, okay, will help shine its light upon you and help you complete it successfully. Okay? You will complete successfully whatever you aspire to do. So far, so good? And then what happens to you after you complete it? You want more. Yeah? See, that's what I mean. You men will say, oh, I'm happy, I'm fairly happy with my wife, Women are not like that. They said, I want better. Agree? So they want more. They want bigger. Yeah? Isn't that progress for the world? Isn't that helpful? So whether you are in the world or whether you cultivate, women's needs are insatiable. And that's what makes the world it is today. Men were just so happy to follow you, just to make you happy. Got it, Daniel? That's why it takes to get married. So because if you complete successfully your endeavors, you will challenge yourself to something bigger and bigger and bigger. What is that called? Cultivation. Because you want to benefit 100 people and say, I can do it. Now I want 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. See that? That's women for you. Men, we go home, we look at our wives, we're happy already. You say, honey, can I have a beer? Only one would come to the temple and meditate. Normal men would stay at home and be happy. Isn't that interesting? So if you happen to cultivate, then when you complete it, you want bigger. Yes? Same thing in the world is pursuits. You want bigger and bigger and bigger, and you challenge yourself. If you get to the top of the world, where you are, let's say, the richest person in the world, what's next for you? Drugs. Look at Elon. That's all he has now. He's the richest man now. To make more money is no longer a big deal. Okay? So that's why you try new drugs. YouTube.
Yes, good afternoon, Master. We have an extended question from Espanol YouTube. Master Emitofuo, this question is from Spanish YouTube. Why in this Saha world there's more probability that after we die, we fall into the 3 lower realms?
Who asked the question?
At this moment, we don't have the name of the person.
No name, no person, no gender?
Not yet.
What happened to your goatee? You look like you look at least 10 years younger.
It became
without the goatee.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are we in love? I wish you success in your endeavor.
I should have suspected that I couldn't pull anything off in front of you, Master. So.
Okay. Anyway, let's not go there. So what was the question again? Remind me.
Well, in the Saha world, there's more probability that after we die, we're going to fall into the 3 lower realms. And why is that?
Because we are naughty. We are doing, when we do bad things, it's more exciting, it's more alluring to us than doing good things. Okay, actually, when you help others, you do good things, it takes a lot of, you need to take losses. And the worst part is that people are extremely ungrateful. And that's very discouraging for most people, And this is why the Buddhists and Bodhisattvas know that. They would help us complete and help us out so that we don't lose hope. But in general, when you don't cultivate, which the majority of the people don't, okay, then they're more easily tempted on doing bad things. Okay, for example, in America, okay, that if if you don't take it, someone else will, even though it doesn't belong to you. You take something that doesn't belong to you, what is that called? Stealing. All right? So that's why it's that we are encouraged to steal in American culture. What else is there in different cultures or other things are there? This is a common wisdom that that we're encouraged. It's normal to do those bad deeds, and that's what the nature of the life, normal life, is that we are more drawn to do things that are bad karmas than good karmas. Including, it's not just you, but also for monks and nuns too. We do more evil things than good things, even for sanghas. This is why not just you, ordinary lay people, but most of the monks and nuns, after they die, they will fall to the hells. So you fall because you create bad karmas. And the simple answer is that you create bad karmas, you create more bad karmas than good karmas. So the bad karma, the bad seeds, are exceedingly much higher than the good seeds. That's why we tend to fall. You still have another question, sir?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
He asks, how do we end birth and death?
What?
How do we put an end to birth and death?
How put an end to birth and death? You put an end to birth and death ultimately by becoming enlightened. It's because you are unenlightened. That's why you're subject to birth and death. You do things that will make you get caught in a real reincarnation because of lack of wisdom. After you become enlightened, that's when you have enough wisdom to be able to get out of reincarnation. Break that cycle. Okay? That ultimately, that's the only way to end birth and death. Until another expedient that's available to us is that because in this era, the era of a Dharma ending age, it's very difficult for us to put an end to birth and death. And therefore, the Buddhas know that, and so they have this expedient called Pure Land, where you can go to the Pure Land even though you are not enlightened yet. So if you go to the Pure Land, you put an end to birth and death, more or less. Okay? So for example, to put in a concrete terms for you, so that everyone can understand. If you're worried about birth and death, which is the fact of life, we revolved in real reincarnation for so long now. We have been doing it for so long that it becomes a habit for us. We don't know how to get out of it. That's the nature of the question. Okay? The only way is to become enlightened. Become enlightened, there's no more birth, there's no more death. Okay? You're in control of your destiny. And enlightened is 4A, 4-stage Arhat, or higher. No two ways about it. Below that, you have not put an end to birth and death yet. Okay? That's based on the Buddhist teachings. So you have to become enlightened. And this Dharma ending age is very difficult to become enlightened. And therefore, one expedient is that even though you're not enlightened yet, you can still go to the end, to the Pure Land at the end of your life and escape birth and death. You go to another world where, like in a Western Bliss Pure Land, where in one lifetime you will become a Buddha. So you never have to go revolve in the wheel ever again. Okay, so that's why the Asians, they really are very enamored with the Pure Land Dharma door, because it's a very, very powerful experience for them to get out. Okay, because their Asian teachers don't know how to teach them how to become enlightened. Nor do they believe that they themselves can become enlightened. All right. Well, we have 10 more minutes. 743. At that time, Celestial Prince Sun received the Buddha's awesome spiritual power, universally contemplated the multitudes of celestial princes of the sun, and spoke the following verse.
尔时日天子成佛威力，普观一切日天子众，而说颂言。
744. This guy, Celestial Prince Sun, he is actually the most famous of all the celestial princes of the sun. Okay, the solar princes, and so that's why he's their leaders. Okay, so he assisted by the Buddha's spiritual powers, meaning that for him to be able to recite these verses, he himself personally does not have enough wisdom to be able to see it. However, this is what happens to these Mahasattvas. Even though they're not able to do it, but Buddhas can still use them to do it. So this is at the level where you can stop worrying about me. Does it help? You say, oh, I can't do that. No. It's not about you able to do it, being able to do it or not. It's about you serving your boss. Does it help? Yes, we're limited. We have a lot of limitations. But when necessary, our bosses, our Mahasattvas and Buddhas will empower us. That's what the Christians know. They're in Jesus' name, by the power of Jesus, I sign my check. Ever met people like that? In my early days of cultivation, I walked around, this guy said, he signed, he gave me a check and he signed his name, and he had some initial, but, JC. He signed his name, and underneath he wrote JC. I said, what's JC? Your name is not good enough? He said, no, that means this is me empowered by Jesus Christ. I said, wow, you guys are superior. We are so naive. Yeah. Okay, so he even he's a Mahasattva, but he still needs the Buddha's power to be able to speak the Dharma in the Avatamsaka Sutra. Okay? So again, I emphasize to you, okay? It's a network. We have a tremendous support structure. Even Master Hsuan, when he came here, he has so much help. Okay, 7:45. I have 5 more minutes. So thus come one tremendous light of wisdom, universally illuminates the lands of the 10 direction.
如来广大智慧光，普照十方诸国度。
So the Buddhas, all Buddhas emit this light, brilliant light, tremendous light that comes from his wisdom. Okay? So wisdom, nature wisdom is to shine light, to brighten your mind, brighten the world. Okay? And this light here can reach all over the universe in a 10 direction, meaning everywhere in the Dharma realm. Okay? All sentient beings see the Buddha variously, and by the use of numerous expedient means they are tamed.
一切众生咸见佛，种种调伏多方便。
All right, this is the last one I'm gonna explain, and then we stop. So we have 4 minutes exactly. Okay? Go ahead, ask questions. Don't make me go to the next one. Okay, so he shines a light in all the lands of 10 direction. Okay, and what's interesting to me is that he uses numerous expedients to tame living beings, which tells me so loudly that what? You gotta be tame, naughty girl, naughty woman. Okay. You safe. Okay. Yeah. Huh? Isn't it amazing that one of the major functions of Buddha's light is to tame our wild mind? Meaning that we are so naughty. Wei Mao.
Master, when you're in the Saha world and you do go out there and do good deeds, good things, and the odds are against you, and people are ungrateful, what's the best way to get through those kind of obstructions and do the right thing, do good deed? Thanks.
Yes, absolutely. But it's not all this thing. And he's talking about, you talking about taming here? Huh? South Carolina? It's because it's like your mind is so wild. And you can identify with that, can't you? In younger days, you do really crazy things, didn't you?
Sure did.
You did.
Yes, we did.
Do you still do? Now the older?
Now I've been there, done that.
What? What did he say?
Been there, done that.
You no longer do that? Anyway, so the Buddha has sometimes he's mean, sometimes he's nice, sometimes he's nonchalant. I don't care. Go. Do your things. So whatever he needs to do, he does it in order to calm us down. Before anyone else has a chance to talk to living beings. So before I'm here, I'm sure that your minds have to be tamed so many lifetimes before you get a chance to set foot here at DTT. Can we agree on that? Yeah? And the people outside, except for 20 of you here today, they still need a lot of taming to do. Okay, yes, 7.
Master, what does all sentient beings see the Buddha mean?
What?
What does the sentence all sentient beings see the Buddha. What does it mean?
Yeah, they are able to see the Buddha. Okay, God, why did you come up with these questions? Okay, so he emits light. No one knows he emits light. That's why he's occasionally he lets them see him. What do you want me? What do you want from me? Do it look like I know have all the answers? It's kind of, you're right. It's funny statement. 一切众生显见佛. So it says all sentient beings see the Buddha, and when they see the Buddha, they are tamed. Their minds are tamed. So this refers to the fact that when they are able to see images of the Buddha, okay, they're tamed. So you're right, and thank you for bringing it up, meaning that sometimes it helps to have images of the Buddha. To see the Buddha here is see images, things that remind them of Buddhas, that they interpret as Buddhas. Okay, so could be your pendant, could be a thing on the wall, okay, could be on TV, video. When they see such images, statues, then somehow their wild minds are tamed. Okay? Good question. Thank you, everyone. We stop here today. Have a nice rest of the weekend.